What it is and what it ain't, I'm gonna let y'all know what I think, man. We finna talk about that group illegal, man. But first, y'all need to get y'all popcorn and y'all sit back and watch the show, man. Hey, man, this group illegal, they was a young teenage group, you know. They was signed up under Dallas Austin, man. And they was one of the most prominent groups of the early 90s, you know. At the same time, Chris Cross was doing their thing. They was making pretty much gangster rap tunes, and Malik ended up going over to Death Row, and he was on some big albums with Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. He even worked with Too Short, E40. Malik did some good things too, and basically they had features with everybody from the East Coast, with Eric Sherman, Keith Murray, all the way back to the West. And you talking about a group that's from the dirty South, because uh, them boys used to look up to Naughty by Nature, TLC, you know what I mean, Left Eye, because that's how they got discovered early on. And Jermaine Dupri wanted to sign them. Snoop Dogg wanted to do something with them. But Jermaine Dupri, he was used to like Bow Wows and Criss Cross. And Illegal was just a lyricist, East Coast type group. And a lot of their years was spent in Atlanta and South Carolina and out there in New York. But they built a big catalog. And Molly G, he ended up going into rehab because he started smoking drugs and taking pills, but he continued to rap and ghostwrite. And Malik, he was always the star, and he was smart, and he took care of business. And Malik always wanted to be a solo star. So when the group broke up, Malik went over there with Death Row and just put out hits and kept the name alive. And Molly G, he just stayed, in the South, and he was doing songs because they worked with Trick Daddy, JT Money, uh, pretty much everybody that needed a feature coming up in the 90s. They had to go through Molly G, you know what I mean, or Illegal as a group, because they was just hot, you know what I mean. They was down with Redman, Eric Sherman, and Eric Sherman gonna be doing another tape with them, you know what I mean, because he doing a collaboration project, and he want all the old groups that meant something uh, back in the days to come back and do some new music, because these dudes' music go way, way back from the early 90s. Remember the rap cards, MTV cards? They was on them. They used to be on MTV Jams. But a lot of their songs didn't get no radio play, or it just got played in their region. You know what I mean? But all these old cats from the 80s that was teenagers in the 90s, they fucked with Illegal because they was a street hardcore group, and they went on tour with some of the most big dogs in the industry. And a lot of people learned from them, from South Carolina, because, they even got a cousin. He was homeless. They found him. And, he was talking about, man, I'm some kin to Illegal. My homeboy 48 Yachty got it on his video channel. And, 48 Yachty was like, man, I grew up listening to Illegal. But, the cousin went down the wrong path, so he had to get left behind. But he was there early on, before them boys blew up real big. But, them boys was one of the best things that ever come up out in the 90s. You know what I mean? If you never heard of Legal, go do your back check, work on them. I ain't got to say too much about them because, you know, they like regular people right now. Molly G going through it, in and out of rehabs and jails. He just did like 4 months. But shit, he back at it, getting that bread. Finna get ready to ghostwrite some stuff for a lot of people albums. He don't really get that much credit. But now he made sure all his business work, all their business together, the whole group, so they get all their royalties from 10 years back all the way up until today. That's all I got to say about them boys. Peace and mind.